This video basically is in no way am I a YouTuber, a vlogger, prolific at any of that. This is my first video I've ever made and posted in those fields right there, or in those realms. Um, Basically, just wanted to make a video updating uh, my situation. Currently in my fifth week of training with TMC, basically done. I'm at a terminal, but I can't release out because this is not a release terminal. Even though they have trucks here, that my truck might be here, but I have to go all the way back to either Des Moines, Iowa, where I obtained my CDL training, load securement training, and started this journey. And either there or Brownsburg, Indiana, are two places where I'll have to go after this week right here, which I'm pretty much done. So just wanted to update. Haven't had a chance to make videos. Too much basically work. Too Work is too time consuming for me to make videos at this point because I'm just learning. I did want to make videos when I finished, or at least a video when I graduated from getting my CDL at the Pro Driving Academy through TMC Transportation in Des Moines, Iowa. That was November the 9th was graduation. I believe I tested out November the 7th, and I was able to pass that test. Was able to do well, and felt comfortable proceeding on with the trainer. That experience has been interesting because we're like two different types of people, but somehow we figured out how to make it. And for those of you who know my background, I've been around a lot of different people. I've been in situations like this with strangers. Like I said, that's another video for me to get into. But those of you who already know my situation, you already know that, I can pretty much live in a truck, live in that type of environment with somebody that I don't know. So I've been able to get what I can. My trainer's probably, I'm not going to, I don't know. I haven't had other trainers, but I would say that based off of his numbers, he's number one in his fleet, and he's number 20th in the whole company. He's number one for his fleet manager, excuse me, and he's number 20th for the whole company. And I think he's number 5 in the division of flatbed, because there's different divisions. There's flatbed, there's heavy haul or specialized, Conestoga, which is you have Conestoga, which is like the sliding cover over the flatbed, and you have covered wagon, then you have boat division. So my trainer is one of the top guys in this company, so that was a good thing for me getting him as a trainer. As a trainee, I have to say that I feel comfortable with being able to haul whatever down the road. And he's also the type of trainer that stays in touch with you. He has trainees, ex-trainees calling him all the time, asking him, what do I do? Where do I turn here? What's up with this shipper? What's up with this consignee? And he knows all that. So that's been good. Training has been good for what it's for. Family has been coping with, my situation. Like I said, I'm used to being away from home. Been away from home for, probably more than the average person in society by far, for years and years and years. So for me, if you're getting into trucking, I might have had an advantage right there, but as opposed to, where I didn't have advantages at with, driving commercial vehicles or large vehicles or things of that nature, backing up trailers, having, being around trucking, that wasn't part of my background. The only way that I made that part of my background was when I started to pursue getting a CDL, and I started to put myself in those positions where I would be around, have opportunities to drive larger vehicles slowly but gradually, and then get to the point where I felt like I was comfortable to go get my CDL. As far as here, I'm in Joplin, Missouri. I'm at the terminal getting service. Like I said, week 5, I'm pretty much done. We got a load of basically 50,000 pounds of coil rebar, skidded, 5 of them. We're at 80 and some change. As far as the whole process has gone in this company, from what I see from my trainer, and what his advice has been to me, it's all going to be based on, and I'm just starting this, but it's all going to be based on the time that I put into it. You can go home every week with this company. You can be home Friday, you can leave out Sunday. Flatbedding in general, not just this company, because flatbedding is the same all around the board because the shippers are closed on the weekend. They're 9 to 5 jobs. They have good jobs. The people that operate forklifts and work in warehouses and things like this for flatbedding. For reefer and dry van, it's a little bit different. I worked in a warehouse that did reefer products, produce, and I've worked in a warehouse that did dry as well. Actually, right before I had this job, I drove a straight truck for that same warehouse company. Right before I got this job or this opportunity to get my CDL. So I've seen different aspects of it, and I think flatbed for me is more in line with my personality. Like I said, you'll be home every weekend with this company unless you want to stay out. My wife is willing to hit the road with me when I get to the point where I'm allowed to have a passenger, which I believe is like 90 days. So that's something to look forward to. If you're wanting to know that, if you're watching this video and you're looking for amateur student perspective, and you want to know, things of that nature, yes, that is something that you'll be able to do. You will be able to have permit passenger. Of course, I think you have to be married or have some type of legal, documentation that shows that you live with this person. As far as, like I said, your opportunity with this company or your opportunity with any company is going to be based on what you put into it. Are you willing to park at the customer? Are you willing to park in the middle of a job site overnight that has no bathroom facilities, no water facilities? Are you willing to basically give up your comfort? Flatbedding, you're not going to be, if you look at a truck stop, just drive to any of the big major truck stops. We can, do a statistical analysis. 90% of what you're going to see are going to be van and reefer. You're not going to see a lot of flatbed. And if you do, they're probably going to be owner ops that kind of run, on their own time, or they don't have next day deliveries, or they're doing a 34 reset. On a day-to-day basis, you're going to see very few flatbedders parked at truck stops. Why? Because they have to be at that customer already in the morning to get untarped, unsecured, where they don't just open the back door and swing it open and push their, tandems back and let them come on there and take it off. Flatbed is a little bit more preparation that you have to do to get ready to get unloaded and loaded. And so you do more parking at your customer. And flatbedding is more dealing with TMC, as far as I know, and flatbedding from what I've seen from other companies that are at shippers when we're there, 90% of the time you're dealing with building material. So you're going to be in the building material realm of things, industry, steel, aluminum, steel, shingles, lumber, any type of building materials and things of that nature. This is what you're going to be dealing with. You're going to be hands-on with stuff. It's not no touch. This is not for the no touch freight individuals. And maybe one day I'll feel like I need to be there. But right now I like to be active. I had working at U-Haul before this, and I was doing moving for three different moving companies before this that were in conjunction with my U-Haul job. So I'm used to doing work. So for me, it wasn't that big of a transition in that aspect. It's still a different type of work, and it's something that I'm still learning. By no means am I a professional. I'm still a student driver. I don't even have a year under my belt. The main thing about me coming to this company basically was getting my CDL, because they had an opportunity to get your CDL, get paid while you get it. Yes, you do sign a contract. Most places that you're going to go to, Prime, Swift, any mega carrier, which is the majority of how people get their CDL, unless they're able to go to a local situation and get their CDL, which I looked into that. But this situation was basically, job security, job guarantee, and I'm not too much concerned about being in a contract with a company, which I can at any time buy out, or pay towards my tuition. And say for instance, I want to leave in 6 months. Well, I just give them the difference of what's left, and I keep it moving. So a lot of other companies, their contract situation is not like that. This is a totally different contract situation. This is not a contract that doesn't say that you cannot get out of the contract. You can get out of the contract if you so choose to. But what's important here is that, like I said, wanted to make a video, wanted to give some basically update on this industry, on my coming into the industry, on the end of my training. I'm not going to really get in depth with how school was, because you already have videos. Basically, like, I'm in TMC group, new driver group as well. If you see me on there, you can message me if you have questions. But most things you can get answered by people that have been around longer than me. I'm mainly just making this video, like I said, as an update for people that know me, as an update for people that don't know me, from a new student perspective. Everybody has different points that they want to hit on in their videos. Mine was just to kind of get something out there to let people know, yes, I am moving forward with this. Yes, I am going to pursue, going to go into this trucking and try to get this year under my belt, so that after that, basically, I can, do whatever I want to do after that. If I get a year, safe miles, no accidents, no issues, no load claims, that are within the realm of what the industry considers to be you having too many of these or too many of those. So as long as I can stay under those numbers and not have any violations or anything like that, then I feel like that I can successfully move on to the next phase of what I'm trying to do with trucking. And the sky's the limit with this. There's a lot of things you can do once you have your CDL Class A. And especially if you have no restriction. I was able to test out, and that was another reason I came here. And I was probably, not our class, but this end of the year is probably going to be the end of manual testing and a manual transmission for TMC and a lot of other companies from what I've researched. The company that I was going to go through before this, they were testing automatics. So me coming into this game late at 38 years old, already have strikes against me. My situation in itself, which people know, and then getting the automatic restrictions. So I went the hard route. I went 1,000 miles from home and said I got to get this manual transmission, and I was able to get it, and that's a blessing. So like I said, having no restrictions, and being able to take this experience with me, I should be able to do a variety of different things if that's what I wanted to do. One thing I was looking at is something that this will transition into once I decide to make that move, is dealing with the hot shotting, or the gooseneck trailers. Even if they're not gooseneck, might have a fifth wheel, whatever you want to call it, pintle hook. That's something that I can get into, something that I'm kind of interested in getting into. So this experience should carry over to that, because that's a basically flatbed too, unless I do car hauling or some of that nature. But once again, securement is something that once you have the concept of securement down, it translates into different things. So flatbedding can translate into jobs that don't even have anything to do with driving, because securement is in itself a skill craft um, that translates. So there's a lot of things you can get out of flatbedding. There's a lot of things I can get out of this experience. The driving aspect of it, the securement aspect of it, the traveling aspect of it, which is something my wife wants to experience with me. Just the different aspects of it, you can get a lot out of this. Of course, it's not easy. Like I said, parking in the middle of nowhere, parking at a lot of work sites, driving into a lot of terrain that is, maybe not as dangerous as logging, but it's probably the next most dangerous thing. Um, just in general. This is a dangerous job, by the way. This is not the hazard of this job is high. It's up in the most dangerous jobs, just because of what you're hauling. Shotgun coil, suicide coil. These type of things can kill people. They have killed people. They've killed drivers. Bars coming through the truck. These are things, but this is not what I focus on, but I'm aware of. It's dangerous. If you're not safe, you will get hurt. Simple little stuff when you're, using the cheater bar to tighten down straps, that you can get hurt from that. You can break your nose, you can break your fingers, you can break your wrist. Being on top of the 13.6 lumber load tarping is a dangerous affair. So, like I said before, I wanted to give a little insight into it for those that are interested or looking or, speculating. Those that might be in other aspects of trucking, but they might want to transition over to this. There's thousands of videos out there. There's prolific YouTubers like Trucker Brown and some other guys, that have been doing it for a long time. And they know way more than me, and they can give you way more insight than me. The only insight that I can give you is on the aspects of how I looked at things coming into it, what made me gravitate towards it, what made me made the choices that I make. Everybody's going to make their choice at the end of the day. If you, like I said, if you want to go to community college or local situation and get your CDL, that's preferable if you can do that. If you have to work full time, like I would have had to work, though, then that's going to be a little bit difficult. If you go through one of the carriers, then you're going to get locked into some type of contract. And the best contract I've seen is the contract they have, because their contract is just straight up, this is what your school costs. At any time, you can give us that money for the school and you're out of here. And there's no interest put on it or nothing. And it's cheaper than a lot of other schools, would have costed. The community college that I would have went to, or the program that I would have went to, would have been, about 4,500, and this is less than that. So, um, you know, there's a lot of flexibility with this situation. There's a lot that can be done with this situation. My whole thing is that individuals have to look at their personal situation. For my personal situation, I think I'm where I want to be at with this trucking. As far as in the future, and what I'll probably do is once I get in my own truck, I'll give you some insight, because everybody doesn't follow everybody's page. So if you don't like somebody's page or whatever, you might be missing out on valuable information. You might like my page or channel or whatever I plan to post this on. So, like I said, I'm not prolific with this videoing, vlogging, whatever you want to call it. But at the same time, it is something that I can give you some insight on because I'm in the realm doing it. And I had a lot of friends that came into trucking before they had all this stuff, and they weren't able to give back, so to speak, or make videos while they were in their beginning stages of their situation. Um, and some people just aren't into that. So me being able to do this is a blessing, and me being able to share my experience with you is a blessing. Hopefully it's something that you get something from. There's nothing fancy about this. It's just flat out what it is. And what it is it's trucking, and it's a time consuming, high level of responsibility, high level of being on point. If you're not an on point person, if you don't like having a high level of responsibility on your shoulders, and then on top of that, being able to maintain your family ties properly and focus properly and get your proper rest and get your proper, diet and just the balance that this takes. Yeah, you might look at truckers and think that, it doesn't take a lot of effort, or you might look at the situation and not really have the proper understanding of the situation. But trust me, if you're not in this realm yourself, or inside of it, if you're not inside the situation, then you have no understanding of the situation unless you're dealing with the situation. You're a wife of somebody, or you're the children of somebody, you're the parents of somebody that is in trucking. So I have a new respect for truckers, because what this is not easy. And another thing I noticed about trucking is that without this trucking, a lot of things wouldn't get where they need to get to. And so it's a pretty it's a career that matches up with feeling like you're accomplishing something every day. Even though you might not really see, well, what do these steel coils have to do with anything that but trust me, if those don't get to where they need to get to, these Amazon, vans don't get to where they need to get to, a lot of people are going to be upset because they're not going to have the things that they consume. So, trucking, the country and the economy is built on, trucking, logistics, things getting from point A to point B. So it's a lot of responsibility. And you're part of that, if you get into this, you get your CDL, in some way or another, local, OTR, or whatever, you're going to be part of that. So it's just something that you have to think about. Signing out.